Hi, this is Ajit, and today we are talking about how to get more done in less time. See, it's the challenge of today's world. We are with so much stuff that we want to do. There's so much that we want to achieve, and we got one life. So we have to get more and more and more done in as little time as possible. I've found one really powerful method that has allowed me to be able to get done a lot of stuff, be able to run 5 different businesses at the same time without overwhelming myself. Right? The system is a two-part system. The first part of the system says, find out what's most important, right? And that seems like a very obvious solution. It seems like, oh, of course you should always know what you got to do, right? But that's the one thing that most businesses don't do, is to really go and say, what is it that is A, most important to the company? What is it that is going to be the highest leverage item for the company? And focus on that. And secondly, how is that related to your strengths, right? That's again one more thing that we tend to forget and tend to not do, is to really focus and hone in on what are our strengths. What is it that we should focus on? So what is the focus of the company and what is your focus? Because that's your strength. And then you're working on that, working on your strengths. And that's the first bit, is to really know what is it that you're really working on. And when you know what you're really working on, what you do is you deploy what is not your strength and not important to the company to your team members or to people who have that as strength, or you outsource that thing to people who are actually specialists in all that stuff, because that is not your genius, right? To be able to get more done in less time, the power, and to become infinite and to become more powerful every single day, is to be able to engage with people who have the strengths that are counter to your strengths. Those are things that need to be done, but are not your strengths. So you don't have to focus on them, and your team can deliver that. That's the way you become infinitely a lot more powerful. And that's step one, is to know the right items and know the right items for yourself. And so of course, know the right items for your team. The second part is what I call chunking. So again, something that happens is we go in and we go, okay, these are the 7 items that we should do, because that's what the world tells you, that, oh, you got to be on Instagram, on Facebook, and do email marketing, and do a launch, and do a funnel, and do this, and do that, and da. And there's so much things and so many items that you have to deliver by the end of it that you're just overwhelmed and confused, and sometimes you're frozen because you're like, what do I really get done? And that takes more time for everything to get delivered. How I have found a hack to it is that I chunk everything. I chunk my entire business into 2 to 3 month projects. Sometimes it could be 5 months, depending if the project is really long, but usually it's between 2 to 3 months. And what I mean by that is, let's say, for example, if I was to focus today on, and that's, let's say my strength is content. I want to really dominate content. I really want to communicate through the platform of Facebook. What I would do is I would dedicate my next quarter or next 2 months just focusing on Facebook and content marketing. And I would really drill down with my team and myself and really make sure that is done really, really well. What chunking does for you, and that's what I call chunking, is to take one big project at a time and dedicate it from start to finish so you can really get the real results out of it. Now, what chunking does for you is it makes you extremely focused. If, let's say, I was to dedicate myself on Facebook and content marketing, what do you think is the first step that I do? I go in and I study it like crazy. I find out everything that I can find out about that particular thing. Then I go in and I start testing it like crazy. I have my eyeballs on it every day, trying to figure out what's working, what's not working, what my clients are resonating with, what they're not resonating with. And then I'm doing more and more of that, right? So chunking gives me the ability to A, focus, and compound every activity that I do, because I'm not moving from one item to another, which of course takes you a certain amount of ramp up time, because now you've changed the item that you're focused on every single day, right? So what I've found is, if I do only things that are my strengths, and I delegate things that are my team's strengths, but I focus in on certain items, and I say these are the items that we are going to highest leverage items, I go in and focus and zoom in on that. That being the first part. And the second part, being able to give dedicated time for me to be able to execute on it and stay focused on that for a certain period of time, till the time either it becomes successful or it fails and I move to the next project. It gives me the ability to get a lot more done in much less time.